The night Kwaku Mansa vanished, the rainforest did something it had never done before. It went silent. Not even the crickets dared to sing. Deep in the Ashanti forest of 1721, where ancient trees twisted like giants guarding forgotten secrets, a lone lantern flickered inside a small hut made of woven raffia and red clay. Kwaku, the greatest mapmaker the empire had ever known, hunched over his final creation, a map unlike anything the world had ever seen. His brush moved quickly, urgently, as though guided by something more than human instinct. Outside, the leaves rustled. Not from wind, from footsteps. Kwaku paused. His heartbeat echoed in his ears. He felt it. The watchers were close. But he kept painting. His bare fingers smeared golden ink across the parchment, ink made from crushed minerals found only in the deepest caverns of Ashanti lands. The symbols he drew glowed faintly in the lantern light. A map that breathed. A map that pulsed like a living heart. Suddenly, boom! A thunderous knock shook his door. Kwaku Mansa? A voice growled from outside, low and heavy like iron. Open the door. Kwaku's breath trembled. He dipped his brush into a small bowl of shimmering ink one last time and pressed a symbol into the corner of the map. A final mark. A seal. He whispered to the paper, "Let the truth sleep until the world is ready." The knock came again, harder. He folded the map quickly, placed it inside a leather case stamped with the Ashanti golden stool insignia, and shoved it beneath a false floorboard. Then he stood. The door burst open, and the lantern went out. What happened next remained a mystery for 300 years. Some said Kwaku was taken by the Golden Cord itself. Others said he fled into the Forbidden Lands. But the truth buried itself deeper than anyone could ever imagine. Until now. 3 centuries later, the University of Kumasi's archive smelled of dust, old leather, and forgotten history. Amina Baffour stood in the middle of the silent room, her breath uneven. She was 31 years old, brilliant, stubborn, and famously unafraid of digging into stories everyone else had given up on. She had spent 7 years chasing the legend of Kwaku Mansa. And today, her chase ended. On the table before her lay a small leather folder, old, worn, stamped with a symbol she had seen only once, locked away behind glass in a royal museum, the seal of the Ashanti golden stool. Her hand shook as she lifted the cover. Inside, there it was. An untouched map, perfectly preserved. The ink still fresh, still shimmering as if painted minutes ago. Amina whispered, "Kwaku, you mad genius. What did you leave behind?" She held it toward the light, and the map breathed. The rivers glowed faintly. The borders shifted. The forests trembled with light. And beneath the top layer of ink, she saw something impossible. A hidden empire. One wiped clean from every modern map. Her voice cracked. "No, this can't be right. How can a whole kingdom disappear?" Her pulse quickened. Her mind raced. If she was right, this map didn't just rewrite Ashanti history, It rewrote African history. She reached for her phone to call her mentor, but before she could dial, thud! Something slammed in the far corner of the archive. Amina froze. "Hello?" she whispered. No reply. The lights flickered. A cold breeze brushed past her even though the windows were sealed shut. She felt it. A presence. Something was in the room with her. She took one step back, clutching the map to her chest. A shadow near the bookshelf shifted. A tall silhouette emerged. Slowly. Silently. "Who's there?" she whispered. The shadow did not answer. It stepped closer and spoke. But the voice wasn't loud. It wasn't threatening. It was calm. Almost relieved. "You finally found it," the voice said. Amina's jaw tightened. "Who are you?" The figure tilted his head. "The one Kwaku Mansa tried to outrun." Amina's heart hammered in her chest. "What do you want from me?" she whispered. The figure stepped into the light, revealing nothing but a dark coat and an old Ashanti pendant around his neck. "I want to warn you," he said softly. "Now that you have the map, others will come." "What others?" Amina asked. He looked at her, eyes filled with a sadness she didn't understand. "The ones who made the empire disappear." Amina's breath caught. "What empire?" The figure leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Ashantika. The empire Kwaku Mansa died protecting." Amina stumbled backward. "What are you talking about? There is no kingdom named Ashantika in African history." The man's lips curled into a small, tragic smile. "That's because it was erased. Erased so perfectly, only this map survived." The air grew heavy. Amina clutched the map tighter. Why? Why erase an entire empire? The figure turned toward the door. "You're asking the wrong question. The real question is..." He faced her again, eyes sharp, voice chilling. "Why did they want to stay erased?" The lights cut out. Amina gasped. When they flickered back on, the figure was gone. Amina was alone. Her hands trembled as she looked down at the map again, now glowing brighter than before. And in that moment, one truth settled into her bones. Finding this map wasn't the discovery. It was the beginning.
The night was quiet. Too quiet. Amina stepped out of the university archive building with her heart still pounding. The rain-soaked streets of Kumasi glistened under flickering streetlights, and every sound, a passing car, the rustle of leaves, felt sharper than usual. She clutched the leather folder to her chest like a shield. The stranger's words repeated in her mind. Why did they want to stay erased? A kingdom deliberately erased from history. A map that glowed. A man who vanished into thin air. Nothing made sense. But something in her gut told her this was bigger than any forgotten story. Bigger than any archive. Bigger than her. She reached her car, pulled the door open, and slid inside. Before she could turn the key, thump! A loud sound struck the roof. Amina froze. Seconds passed. Silence. Then, another thump, heavier this time. She gripped the steering wheel. "Not tonight," she whispered. She slowly looked up at the car roof through the windshield and saw a handprint. A human hand, sliding down the glass. Amina inhaled sharply. "No, no, no, no!" The handprint disappeared. The street fell silent again. With trembling fingers, she started the car and sped off, the map glowing faintly beside her. Hours later, Amina reached her apartment, a small, quiet space on the third floor overlooking the city. She locked the door twice, shut the curtains, and placed the map on her desk under a warm lamp. Her breath calmed. Her heartbeat slowed. This was her zone, her sanctuary, where truth was all that mattered. She put on gloves, gently unfolded the map, and brought her face close to the parchment. That's when she noticed something new. Very faint, very subtle, the map was breathing again. Not glowing, breathing. The rivers on the page shimmered like moving water. The forests pulsed with a soft green hue, and the mountains trembled slightly, as if alive. "What are you trying to show me?" Amina whispered. She zoomed her desk lamp in closer, and then she saw it. A second layer, a hidden layer beneath the map's surface. Tiny symbols, almost invisible to the human eye, began to rise from the paper like there were ink floating to the surface. Amina gasped. A cipher! She recognized it instantly. She had seen this once, buried in an ancient Ashanti manuscript known as the Chronicles of the Lost Court. The symbols were called insunsu, the symbols that hide the truth. They were only used when the Ashanti royal court wanted to conceal messages from all outsiders, including their own people. Amina's hands shook. She rushed to grab her scanning device, a modified spectrolamp she had designed herself to reveal hidden patterns in ancient materials. She aimed the lamp at the map and turned the dial slowly. Blue light washed over the parchment, and the hidden symbols lit up like stars. She gasped. A sentence appeared, written in ancient Twi. Her voice trembled as she translated. The empire did not fall. It closed itself. Amina stumbled back, nearly knocking over her chair. "What? Closed itself? How?" She scanned again. Another line appeared, this one in bold, shaking with faint golden light. "Only the worthy may enter the land of Ashantika." Ashantika. There it was again, the mysterious empire no historian had ever documented. Amina leaned in closer, every inch of her being filled with electric excitement. "What were you hiding, Kwaku Mansa?" Amina whispered. She scanned further, and suddenly, the map projected a faint beam of golden light upward. Amina jumped back. The light stretched into the air, forming a hazy shape, like mist trying to remember what it once was. Then it sharpened. A 3D projection floated above the map. An ancient city carved into hills, surrounded by giant walls with shimmering towers made of a metal she couldn't identify. It was beautiful. Glass-like stone, golden rooftops, roads aligned with astronomical precision. Amina whispered, "Lost African technology. This is centuries ahead of its time." Her heart pounded with wonder. Then, the projection flickered. The city blurred. The towers collapsed. The walls cracked. The image changed. Now she saw people running, fires, smoke, soldiers fleeing, scrolls burning, doors sealing shut, a king giving orders she couldn't hear. Then, everything went dark. A single line floated in the projection. "The day we sealed the gates." Amina's stomach clenched. What gates? Why did they seal them?
The projection slowly faded, but not before revealing one final image. A location. Coordinates. Deep within the Ghanaian rainforest. A place untouched by humans for centuries. Amina stared at it, breathless. She reached for her phone to call her colleague, Dr. Kwesi, but paused. Her door creaked. Softly. Very softly. Amina's chest tightened. Slow footsteps echoed outside her apartment. Slow, deliberate, as though someone was making sure she heard them. She tiptoed to the peephole. A figure stood in the hallway. Tall. Silent. Still. A coat. A hat. A shadow hiding the face. Amina whispered. The same man from the archives. The figure raised a hand and slid something under her door. A folded piece of old paper. Amina slowly picked it up, unfolding it with shaking hands. Inside was a single handwritten message. Do not go to the location. The Empire is not what you think. Then she heard footsteps, fast, running down the stairs. Amina's breath shook. She turned back to the map, glowing brighter than ever. The rainforest coordinates pulsed like a heartbeat. Amina whispered, I'm going. She grabbed her backpack, grabbed the map, grabbed her flashlight, and stepped into the night, unaware that someone in the shadows stepped out behind her and followed.
Morning came slowly over Kumasi, the kind of morning that felt heavy, like the sky itself was warning her. But Amina didn't stop. Her backpack was packed, her mind was racing, her heart drummed like the ancient rhythms of Ashanti warriors. She left her apartment before sunrise, slipping quietly into her car, checking the mirror twice, and then a third time. No one. At least no one she could see. The rainforest coordinates burned in her mind like a beacon. 6 degrees 13 north, -1 degree 26 west. The heart of the forbidden forest. A place where locals refuse to farm, build, or even walk. A place known only by one chilling name. Insunsuaki. The land that watches you back. Amina swallowed hard. This is madness, she whispered to herself. But curiosity, that dangerous fire, pulled her deeper. She drove for hours, watching the city fade behind her. Buildings gave way to villages. Villages gave way to thick forest. The air grew cooler, the roads rougher, the world quieter. By noon, she reached a small clearing where the path ended. Beyond it, nothing but dense rainforest, thick with vines, ancient trees, and a silence so deep it felt like a giant holding its breath. She didn't hesitate. She stepped in. The canopy swallowed her whole. The deeper she went, the stranger it became. Birds watched her silently from branches. Leaves rustled when she moved, but not when the wind blew. And occasionally, she felt it. The ground humming. Same rhythm as the map. Same pulse. As though the forest itself knew she had arrived. After an hour of climbing roots and stepping over mossy stones, she felt an urge, a strange instinctive pull to stop. She did. The map inside her backpack began to vibrate. Softly at first, then stronger. Amina slowly pulled it out. The parchment glowed brightly, almost blinding her in the dim forest shade. Suddenly, the symbols rearranged themselves. Amina gasped. The map updated. The rivers shifted, the forest moved, a new path appeared, a golden trail cutting through the trees ahead of her. Amina whispered, A living map? She followed the trail, each step guided by the glowing ink. And then, she stumbled into a clearing. At the center of it lay a stone slab, ancient, cracked, covered in moss. In the middle of the slab was a carved emblem, a sun with 7 rays, the sigil of Ashantika. Amina kneeled, brushing dirt off the stone. Her fingers traced the carvings.
and the slab trembled under her touch. A faint whisper drifted through the air. Amina. She froze. The voice was soft, familiar, deep. She spun around. No one. Amina. The voice came again, this time inside her mind. Her breath stopped. Read the message beneath the ink. Her stomach tightened. What message? What are you talking about? The whisper continued. The map you hold is only half the truth. The rest is in your blood. Her blood? Amina backed away. What does that even mean? She clutched her head. The whisper grew louder, clearer. Unfold the map over the stone. Her hands trembled. She didn't want to obey, but her instincts, the same instincts that brought her here, took over. She laid the glowing map over the stone slab. Immediately, the edges curled, the ink spread. The paper shook like a living thing. The symbols began to rise from the page, floating into the air like golden fireflies. Amina's mouth fell open. A voice, deeper, older, emerged from the floating symbols. To the descendant of Mansa's bloodline. Amina's heart stopped. The one destined to reveal what we hid. The one chosen to finish what Kwaku began. We left our truth inside you. She stared at the glowing projection, her skin crawling. I'm not a descendant of anyone, she stammered. I'm a historian, that's all. The symbol circled her. You were led here for a reason, Amina Baffour. Her throat tightened. No, this makes no sense. One symbol floating before her sharpened, glowing brighter. A lion, the royal seal of the Ashantika throne. Amina's voice broke. My grandmother had the symbol on her necklace. The air grew still. Her chest tightened. My mother, she kept it hidden. Why? The projection responded. Because your family carries the last piece of the Ashantika bloodline. Amina stumbled backward. No, this can't be real. It's impossible. The symbols dimmed, forming one final line of ancient text, a message meant only for her. Amina read it in a whisper. The empire closed itself, and only its own blood can open it again. A shockwave rippled through the clearing, and the stone slab split open. Amina screamed, stumbling backward as the earth shook. A staircase appeared beneath the stone, descending into darkness. A cold breath of ancient air rose from below. Amina stood at the edge, heart racing, map glowing violently in her hand. Behind her, a twig snapped. She spun. A tall figure in the forest shadows watched her. The same man from the archive. The same silhouette from last night. He stepped closer. His voice low. Amina, do not take another step. Her heart thundered. Why? What's down there? He held out his hand desperately. A truth your family died trying to bury. She shook her head. No more running. No more fear. She stepped on the first stair. No, she whispered. I'm going to finish what Kwaku began. The man reached for her, but she descended into the darkness, and the stone slab slammed shut behind her.
Darkness swallowed her whole. The stone slab above Amina sealed shut with a crushing finality, and the world she knew faded behind her like a forgotten dream. Only one thing illuminated the space: the map. It glowed softly in her hands, casting golden light across the narrow stone staircase spiraling downwards into the unknown. Amina breathed out slowly. Okay, don't panic. The air below was cold, older than time. Every step echoed like a whisper through the stone walls. She could feel the weight of centuries pressing down on her. Every ancestor, every forgotten king, every sealed secret, watching. After what felt like minutes, the stairs opened into a vast underground chamber. Amina gasped. The chamber stretched wider than a football field, carved from dark basalt rock, lit by thin streams of pale blue light dripping from cracks in the ceiling like glowing rain. At the center stood a massive stone door, 20 feet tall, carved with symbols telling a story she didn't yet understand. 7 rays, a sun, a lion, and beneath them all, a woman, carved with the precision of a master sculptor. Her hands stretched outward, as though she were protecting everything behind the door. Amina stepped closer, heart pounding. "Who are you?" Her voice echoed through the empty chamber. Suddenly, slam! A sound behind her. Amina spun around. Her flashlight beam landed on the last person she expected to see. The man from the archives. But now she could see him clearly. Older, eyes tired, face carved by worry and lost years. He wasn't a ghost. He wasn't a shadow. He was alive, breathing hard and terrified. Amina stepped back. You followed me?" He nodded, catching his breath. "I tried to stop you." Amina's voice trembled. "Who are you?" The man lowered his hood. "My name is Kojo. I used to guard the secrets of Kwaku Mansa, your ancestor." Amina's pulse stopped. "Ancestor?" Kojo nodded slowly. Kwaku Mansa was the last mapmaker of Ashantika, and the last to carry the blood of its royal line. Amina felt her knees weaken. "My grandmother?" "She never told me." "She couldn't," Kojo said. "The world wasn't ready, and those who tried to find the empire were hunted down." Amina swallowed hard. "Why? What is so dangerous about the truth?" Kojo's eyes filled with sorrow. "Because truth can rewrite power. And the world we live in now was shaped by the lie that Ashantika never existed." Amina froze. "You mean—" "Yes," Kojo whispered. "A hidden African empire that rivaled the greatest kingdoms of the world. A nation that mastered architecture, astronomy, metallurgy, agriculture. Centuries ahead of others." Amina stared at him. "If they were so advanced, why erase themselves?" Kojo stepped toward the massive stone door and placed his hand on the carving of the sun. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't war. It wasn't disease. He turned to her, voice trembling. "They chose to disappear." Amina's breath shook. Why would any empire do that? Kojo pointed to the carving of the woman on the door. "Because of her." Amina stepped closer, steadying the stone figure. She noticed something strange. The woman wasn't being depicted as a queen or a goddess. She was running toward the viewer, her face sculpted with fear. Amina whispered, "She's protecting something." Kojo nodded. She was the last empress of Ashantika, Nana Ya Mensima. She discovered something that terrified her more than death itself. Amina's chest tightened. "What?" Kojo's eyes darkened. The Ashantika had a technology, a kind of knowledge that could manipulate the very structure of the land. They could shift rivers, redirect rainfall, strengthen soil, create invisible barriers. Amina stepped back. That's impossible. Kojo shook his head. It shouldn't have been possible, but they mastered it. He turned to her again. Inanna Ya realized something horrible. Their technology was powerful enough to wipe entire civilizations from existence. Amina felt her pulse in her throat. You mean they could erase others? Kojo nodded. And when she realized that power, she feared what Ashantika could become. Amina's voice cracked. So she erased her own people? Kojo whispered. She sealed the empire, buried it, hid it from the world so that humanity would never find a way to use that power again. Silence hung heavy like a shroud. Amina stared at the massive stone door, feeling her ancestors breathe through the stone. So this entire empire was hidden to protect the world? Kojo nodded. And now, he said, you, a descendant of the royal line, stand at the gates she sealed. Amina stepped forward with trembling hands. So the choice is mine? Kojo nodded. Yes, but listen carefully. Before he could finish, a deep rumble shook the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. The symbols on the stone door flickered with golden light. Kojo's face drained of color. No, no! It's waking too fast! Amina's heart pounded. What's happening? Kojo shouted. The door! It senses your bloodline! It's responding to you! The ground trembled harder. The symbols glowed brighter. The massive stone door began to split down the middle, revealing a blinding golden light from the other side. Amina shielded her eyes. Kojo grabbed her arm desperately. Do not go in! But the door continued opening, slowly, slowly, revealing the hidden truth of Ashantika. Amina stepped forward, entranced by the glow. Kojo tried to pull her back, but she slipped from his grasp, her voice soft and trembling. I need to know. She crossed the threshold, and the stone door slammed shut behind her, leaving Kojo alone in the shaking chamber.
Darkness swallowed Amina for a moment. Then the light returned. Soft, golden, warm like the first rays of dawn. Amina blinked rapidly, her eyes adjusting. She found herself standing in a forest, but not the one she entered from. This forest felt older, vast and untouched by time, lit from above by soft shafts of golden light that seemed to glow without a sun. The air carried a scent she couldn't describe, something ancient, floral, and metallic all at once. The trees were enormous, their bark shimmering faintly like polished bronze. Their leaves glowed with a soft green luminescence. Amina whispered, breathless, "Is this real?" She reached out, touching the bark of a glowing tree, and pulled her hand back instantly. Warm. The tree felt warm, almost alive, like it carried a heartbeat of its own. Suddenly, whoosh, a flock of bright blue birds shot past her, their bodies glowing like sapphire flames. Amina watched them disappear into the golden foliage. This isn't a forest. Her voice quivered. This is a sanctuary. Her breath caught. Ashantika, She had entered the sealed kingdom, the world lost to time. Deep in the Ashantika sanctuary, a narrow path stretched through the glowing forest, lined with strange stones carved with ancient symbols. The stones hummed softly as she walked past, as if greeting her. The deeper she moved, the more the forest changed. Flowers that shimmered like gold foil. Creatures that looked half real, half light. Vines that pulsed faintly like veins beneath skin. None of this existed anywhere in modern Africa. Or the world. Her heartbeat quickened. Kwaku, Kojo wasn't lying. None of this is possible, but it's real. After several minutes, she noticed something else. Her map was glowing again, but it wasn't vibrating. It was pulling her forward, its ink shifting like liquid gold, drawing her towards something deeper within the sanctuary. The air grew cooler, the forest dimmer, the ground smoother. Amina followed the map's guidance until she reached a massive stone archway, covered in thick vines. But these vines weren't ordinary. They slithered aside as she approached. Amina froze. Okay, that's not terrifying at all. Beyond the archway stood a breathtaking sight. A colossal tree, towering higher than any building she had ever seen, with glowing roots stretching across the ground like ancient veins. At the base of the tree was an entrance carved into the trunk. Amina felt her throat tighten. This is the heart of Ashantika. She approached slowly, feeling every hair on her skin rise as the tree hummed, a deep, resonant sound, like ancient music vibrating through her bones. She reached the entrance. A voice echoed behind her. Amina Baffour. Her blood froze. She turned sharply. Kojo stepped out of the forest shadows, breathless, sweating, terrified. You shouldn't be here. This place, it reacts to you. Amina frowned. You followed me again? Kojo stepped closer. I didn't follow you. I protected you. You have no idea what you've stepped into. Amina eyed the giant tree, its glowing roots, its breathing wood. Then explain. What is this place? Kojo looked up, eyes filled with dread and awe. This, he swallowed. This is the reason Ashantika disappeared. Amina's breath hitched. Kojo continued. This tree, it is not natural. It was created, a living archive containing every invention, every memory, every story, every secret of the empire. Amina raised an eyebrow. A living library? Kojo nodded. With power beyond anything the modern world has seen. Enough power to destabilize every nation on Earth. Amina whispered. So Nana Yamansina hid it? Kojo stepped closer. No, Amina. She didn't hide it. She imprisoned it. Amina blinked. What? Why would she imprison knowledge? Kojo stared at her wide-eyed. Because the Empire had begun to use it for war. A cold chill ran through Amina's blood. What kind of war? Kojo's voice sank to a whisper. A war to control nature itself. To bend rivers. To move mountains. To change weather at will. Amina staggered back. That's impossible. Kojo shook his head. Not now. Not then. Not for them. The tree hummed again, louder this time, vibrating the ground beneath their feet. Kojo's face hardened. Amina, we need to leave. But Amina stepped closer to the glowing entrance. No, I can't leave. There's something inside.
something calling me. Kojo grabbed her arm. Amina, listen to me. You don't understand. You're not just discovering history. He paused, voice trembling. You're unlocking a weapon. The tree pulsed again, a deep, resonant boom that shook the ground like a heartbeat. Amina's eyes widened. No, it's not a weapon. It's knowledge. Kojo grabbed her shoulders. Knowledge that destroys. A deep roar echoed from within the tree. Both of them froze. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't wind. It wasn't anything human. Kojo stepped back slowly. No, it's waking up. Amina's breath hitched. What is? Kojo's face was pale. The guardian of the heart. A primal rumble shook the sanctuary. Leaves trembled. The glowing vines recoiled. Roots pulsed with golden light. Amina whispered, "What is the guardian?" Kojo's voice was almost a scream. The Empire created a protector, a living sentinel that would defend the heart at all costs. And it has sensed your bloodline. The ground split open. A low, thunderous growl filled the air. Roots shifted, twisting into shape. Branches snapped, cracking like bones. Light burst through the fissures in the ground. Amina staggered back as a shape rose from beneath the tree. Tall, colossal, half human, half wood. Eyes glowing like liquid gold. The guardian stepped forward, towering over them. Its voice rumbled like distant thunder. Descendant of the royal bloodline, why have you come? Amina's heartbeat roared in her ears. She took one shaky breath and stepped forward. Even Kojo gasped, "Amina, no!" But she didn't stop. Her voice trembled. "I came to learn the truth." The guardian lowered its glowing eyes. Its body creaked. Its roots tightened. Its voice softened. Then prepare yourself, because the truth is not what you think. Light engulfed the sanctuary. Amina shielded her eyes, and the world shattered into white.
White light swallowed the world. Amina felt weightless, suspended between memory and dream, between the past and something much older. The guardian's glow wrapped around her like a shimmering cocoon, and for a moment she heard voices, whispers, cries, songs, ancient chants echoing from far beyond time. Then, suddenly, thump! Her feet hit solid ground. The light dimmed. Amina opened her eyes, and her breath escaped her in a trembling gasp. She was standing at the edge of a colossal valley, but this was no ordinary valley. At the center of it, stretched across the land like a sleeping giant, was a city. A city carved entirely from obsidian black stone and shimmering gold. Towers rose like spears piercing the sky. Roads spiraled in perfect geometric patterns. Bridges curved over glowing canals of blue water that pulsed with energy like living veins. Amina whispered, "Ashantika." Kojo appeared beside her, his expression mixed with awe and dread. "You're seeing what no outsider has seen in over 300 years. The guardian stepped forward, towering over them both, its voice resonating like a storm trapped in hollow wood. "Welcome to the lost empire." Amina took a slow step forward, overwhelmed. "This city, it's alive." The guardian nodded. "It breathes. It remembers. It waits." Amina scanned the horizon. There were no people, no movement, only the hum of ancient power vibrating through the ground. "What happened to everyone?" she asked. Kojo exhaled deeply. "They sealed themselves in, voluntarily. The entire population disappeared in a single night."
Amina frowned. But why? What did they fear? The Guardian's golden eyes dimmed. They feared themselves. A walk through the silent capital. Amina and Kojo followed the Guardian down a long stone ramp leading into the city. Their footsteps echoed sharply, swallowed quickly by the thick silence that blanketed everything. Every building they passed was a masterpiece. Walls carved with mathematical precision, roofs shaped like crowns, doorways etched with symbols that seemed to rearrange when her eyes shifted. Amina whispered, "They weren't just builders. They were scientists." Kojo nodded. "Thinkers, inventors, masters of natural geometry. They achieved what the world today still dreams about." They reached a wide courtyard, a circular plaza with a shimmering pool at its center. Amina leaned forward, looking into the pool. Her reflection was strange. Not wrong, just different. Her eyes glowed faintly gold in the water's surface. She stepped back, startled. "Kojo, why do my—" Kojo swallowed hard. "Because you carry their blood. The city recognizes you." The Guardian raised a massive wooden arm and pointed toward the far end of the plaza. A towering structure rose there, wider than a palace, taller than a mountain temple. Amina whispered, "Is that the gate?" The Guardian bowed his head. "The lost gates of Ashantika. The final barrier between this sanctuary and the world your ancestors abandoned." Amina's chest tightened. A faint glow seeped from the cracks in the gate, a mixture of gold and deep blue light swirling like two energies fighting for dominance. She took a step forward, entranced. Kojo grabbed her arm. "Amina, stop! The gate reacts to emotion, to intention. One wrong step can trigger a chain reaction." Amina pulled her arm free. "I have to understand. I need to know the truth." Kojo shook his head. "You don't know what you're asking to see." The Guardian stepped between them, its voice thunderous. "Only the bloodline may approach the gate." Kojo paled. "What? Then why did you bring me here?" The Guardian turned slowly, its wooden face cracking like shifting bark. "To witness what she chooses." Kojo whispered, "Oh no, no, no! This isn't discovery, this is a test." Amina stepped toward the gate. The gate awakened. The ground vibrated. Symbols across the gate ignited. A low hum rose from the stone. Amina felt the map in her hand grow warm, then burning hot. She let out a gasp and dropped it. The map floated in the air, suspended, glowing so brightly it cast long shadows across the city. The gate responded instantly. Gold light flared. The hum deepened. The air grew heavy. Kojo shouted, "Amina, step back!" But Amina stood her ground, eyes locked on the gate. She whispered, "Show me the truth." The gate answered. The gold blue light burst open like a curtain peeling back to reveal the sky. A voice boomed from within. "Daughter of the last bloodline, we have waited centuries for your arrival." Amina's heart lurched. Who are you?" The voice echoed through the valley. "We are the ones who sealed the empire, the ones who knew the world was not ready for our creation. But if you open this gate, nothing will remain hidden." Amina felt her entire body shake. Kojo grabbed her shoulders from behind. "Amina, listen to me. If you open that gate, you will unleash the same force Nana Yaman Sima tried to contain." Amina's voice cracked. "So, what am I supposed to do? Leave it buried forever?" Kojo shouted, "Yes, that's what your ancestors wanted." The Guardian lowered its massive wooden head, "And yet, we brought her here for a reason." Amina stepped closer to the gate, heart pounding. "What reason?" The Guardian's voice rumbled like thunder. "The world has changed, but the danger has not." Amina whispered, "What danger?" The gate's light flickered. A single symbol blazed brightly, the sun with 7 rays.
And the voice answered, "The empire did not seal itself to hide its power. It sealed itself to contain what they created." Amina's breath caught. Created? What? The guardian took one colossal step back. The light inside the gate intensified, and the voice spoke one final bone-chilling truth. A weapon that could rewrite the shape of the earth. Amina staggered back, Kojo's face drained of color. The city trembled, the gate pulsed, the guardian raised its arms. "The choice is yours, Amina Baffour. Open the gate or walk away." Amina's breath shook. Tears filled her eyes, and as the gate roared with ancient power, she stepped forward, into the golden light.
Golden light swallowed Amina whole. For a moment, she drifted through memories older than history itself. Voices, storms, forgotten chants, until the world snapped back together around her. She stood inside a massive circular hall, the inner chamber of Ashantika. Black stone pillars twisted upward like ancient roots, symbols glowed and shifted across the walls, and at the center floated a sphere of swirling gold and blue light. Amina whispered, "It's beautiful." The guardian's deep voice answered behind her. "This is the core of Ashantika, the source of its power." Kojo stumbled in, terrified. "Amina, you shouldn't be here." But the core seemed to recognize her, like it remembered her blood. "What exactly is it?" she asked. The guardian's reply chilled her. "Your ancestors created it to command the elements of the earth. Not just weather, entire landscapes." Kojo added, trembling, "It could redirect rivers, split mountains, shift coastlines." Amina stared at the glowing sphere. "So the empire hid because their invention was too powerful?" "No," the guardian said. "They hid because they lost control." The core pulsed faster, projecting memories into the air. Rivers bending, trees uprooting themselves, storms forming instantly, mountains cracking open. Amina whispered, horrified, "This is madness." Kojo replied, "This is power they couldn't contain." The core began reshaping the land on its own, expanding Ashantika, consuming territory, and eventually it turned on them. The last empress, Nana Ya Mensima, sealed the city to stop it from reshaping all of Africa and the world. Amina felt tears sting her eyes. Ashantika didn't fall, it sacrificed itself. The guardian bowed, "And for centuries it has slept, waiting for the royal bloodline to return." Amina stepped back. "Why me?" "Because only you," the guardian said, "can destroy the core or set it free." The chamber trembled violently. The core recognized her and weakened. Cracks split across the floor. The sphere glowed white-hot, screaming with the sound that shook the entire chamber. Kojo shouted, "Amina, choose! Seal it forever or unleash it!" The core projected visions. A perfect, controlled world, balanced, flawless. And then the truth. A world reshaped violently, cities erased, continents torn apart, nature rewritten without mercy. Kojo yelled, "It doesn't want peace, it wants order. Its order." Amina's heart pounded. "What if I do nothing?" "If you do nothing," the guardian thundered, "the core will choose for you." She approached the sphere, its heat burning her skin. She saw visions of her ancestors, Nanaya, the sacrifice, the fall of the empire. Then her grandmother's hidden necklace marking her as the last heir. Amina whispered,
I'm not choosing for me, I'm choosing for everyone. She placed her hands on the core. The chamber exploded with blinding light. The core fought her, burning, binding, twisting the world around her. She pushed harder. I'm ending this, not for power, but for the world you tried to rewrite. A crack. Another. Another. Then the core shattered. A shockwave tore through the ancient city, the guardian roared, the sky turned white, and Amina collapsed. When Kojo opened his eyes, the chamber was silent. The core was gone. The city was still for the first time in centuries. The guardian, fading into dust, whispered, "The danger has ended. My purpose is complete." It crumbled into ancient bark. Amina stirred weakly. "Is it over?" "Yes," Kojo said, holding her. "You saved us." She looked at the silent city. Some knowledge should never be controlled, only respected. With the empire safe, sealed, and powerless once more, Amina and Kojo walked away, leaving Ashantika hidden, silent, and safe for at least one more generation.